Hello, welcome back to Wayfarer VCV Rack Patches. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore of the Wayfarer Project. Well, it's been a little while, but the autumn is here and I feel the need to make some electronic music. So I'm getting creative and I'm going to be releasing videos on VCV Rack as well as some of the other software that I'm working with to make some magic happen. So in this episode, we're going to be looking at something called Pink Trombone, specifically the VCV Rack module. Now, Pink Trombone is the creation of Neil Thapen, and I am going to provide a link in the description to its web page where basically you use an interactive visualization in order to synthesize sound that models what the human vocal tract can do. In fact, we're going to look at that a little bit just here now. But we're going to basically make a drone sound for voice in VCV Rack using the VCV Rack module version of this synthesizer, which is incredibly great to have. So I am going to attempt to switch on over here to the web page. And I believe right now I am sharing my screen and we're at the Wayfarer Project YouTube channel. I went back a page because once you go to the website, and the link will be in the description for Pink Trombone, it starts off like this, but when you click, it goes. It's working. Now, incidentally, here, let me just put it in a position where we don't hear anything. Basically, there is no off switch. You just need to select the right thing to not hear sound or leave the page. And what else? I was going to say also, I have a Dark Reader on. It's an extension for my browser. Normally the background of this page is white, and white with light pink on it. That's why I went to dark mode here. That might be something to think about there. I don't know Neil Thapen at all, but if he listens to this video, I highly recommend light pink on bright white is not a good color selection. Now, we understand the idea of pink because up here we have the roof of the mouth. And we have the bottom of the mouth, back of the throat, kind of your windpipe there. Now, pretty much when you're moving around, you're left clicking and moving around to work with these parameters, and pretty much is just reading your XY coordinates with the mouse. So, there's a good off switch right there. the about button there. There you go. Now, the beautiful thing is in the version for VCV Rack, it's a module where you can feed in your CV, your virtual CV data, and control a lot of these parameters in a way that it's more enjoyable and more useful than just moving the mouse around on a web page like that. But anyway, this link will be in the description if you do want to play with it. I am going to switch on over here to VCV Rack if I can. And what we're going to do is hear what I've made so far. Now I'm going to grab my keyboard. It's a little more convenient if I have my keyboard right in front of me rather than off to the side like I usually keep it. So here we go. So you can hear there's plenty of reverb on that. And basically I'll be building this patch with you so you can see the different avenues that you can go down in transforming the sound and getting it to be what it is that you want it to be. I'll play some higher notes now just to show you. Probably could use a little compression on that, or maybe do some filtering. I haven't done a lot with it so far, but this is a sound that's still in progress. Like if I wanted to use it up high, it is definitely possible. But since I'll be building it with you, there'll be a lot of things that I can show that will allow you to go one direction or another and make this into the sound that you would like it to be. So I'm going to roll the theme song and we're going to get building. Okay, so here we are in VCV Rack. I'm starting how I usually do with the Mind Meld mixer and its added aux section. A little bit of the Surge XT Reverb 2. If you've looked at previous episodes in the series, I do describe why I kind of use this type of setup. It's a great way to kind of workshop a bit and put different modules together, throw in some effects and route some things as you build a sound. If I was going to build this as a VST instrument, of course, then at the end I would select if I really wanted to use a full 8-channel mixer or not, what effects I would have on, what effects I would leave out in order to be used in the DAW. Hey, right now, that's all stuff that one can explore on their own. So I am going to open up here Pink Trombone. Pink. It is a free module that is from the community library. In fact, I'm going to open, well, no, I'm probably going to copy and paste the one that we work with so we can save its parameters. And then I'm going to search for an envelope gate. The one from VCV is perfectly fine. Now, the way you would typically use this if you were building this as a smaller instrument without the mixer, although I think it's a good idea to have some mixer around there ready to go, because we're going to make 3 of these ultimately and blend them together. But just to see what this thing does, we're going to listen to one solo for now. Now, what you would typically do is have a VCA or something that you could use this gate to control the shape of its audio output. I'm going to do that with the mixer. So, you see my gate, it's already hooked up. Well, let's undo that. Okay. I don't know why. All right, so green for gate. I'm going to hook it up here to the VCV ADSR module. And then, I want green, not blue. And then I'm going to take the output here from this module, giving us the ADSR shape. I'm going to go into the input here, input 2, because I'm going to eventually have 3. But the one we're going to work with now will be the center. You see, channel 1 will be panned left, channel 3 will be panned right. Not all the way, but channel 2 will be centered. And so now that the gate's hooked up, I can safely plug in the module, and we won't have to hear it until we press a key on the keyboard. And so here we go. If I plug this into channel 2's volume input, yes, that would be the case. All right, so there we go. Our gate here is now receiving MIDI input from our MIDI to CV module here. So MIDI input's coming in, opens the gate, and the shape of this gate then goes out to here. Now the way I set this was so that if I press a key, let's hook up pitch so we don't hear just a sound. How about that for once? All right, so let's connect our pitch here. Here's the pitch input on Pink Trombone. It does have, a regulator here and then an ultimate pitch knob for pitch control, so you can do some chorusing or detune it or reset its tuning to different frequencies and so forth. And what am I doing wrong here? Okay, we have 1 volt per octave going into pitch. Is that the default? We're not, what the heck is going on here? Our audio is going into channel 2. Volume. Well, wait a minute, whoa. How did this happen? I'm sorry about that, folks. And this, whoa, man, all sorts of wrong placed cables. This gate is supposed to go right here. Should I do the video over again? Nah, I found it pretty quick. And people are probably laughing at me along the way. Why should I deprive you the fun? There we go. We're working fine now. So I'm going to once again just reset this to default. So the tuning is what it should be. Hold on, I don't believe I initialized that right. There we go. So what I was saying is, in setting the envelope here, I don't know if I want it to be that quick of an attack. And I don't know that I want the difference between the peak that it rises to and the sustain to be such a sudden change. There we go. And maybe not as much of a change. We'll turn the sustain level up. There we go. And I'll extend the release time a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to work with some of these parameters here to be able to transform this voice. If you want to, you could definitely set up a module like either your controller input module, or you could set up, let me see here. You could use, this is gate, here's your CC. Yeah, MIDI to CC, MIDI CC to CV is what you would use, where you would hook up these outputs to different parameters if you wanted different knobs to control different things. You also have this here where you can kind of do that wirelessly. So there are options that you have for taking, and I do have some previous videos on that. I think my most recent one, in fact, involved some MIDI mapping. So, yeah, but I'm just going to use the mod wheel, because what I'd like to do is just have, when I'm playing something musically, I sometimes, depending on the sound, I may want to have a number of sliders and knobs to control different parameters. But in this one, I just want it to be kind of like a transformation from between like two polar opposites of the sound, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I want to keep it simple. So I'm just going to use the mod wheel. So let's see what we got up here under tongue, that big old tongue picture that we saw on the previous website. So here, kind of like a to an ooh, and then you can go to a wah. Let's say we want to start off with an ooh. So we can leave that there like that. Now I'm going to hook this up to mod wheel. I'm going to use blue here to denote that it is a MIDI control. And there we go. And then what you can do is use this regulator to say what direction does it go as the CV input here increases. In other words, you turn the mod wheel up. I'd like it to go this way. So that means I'll turn this way. So here we go. It doesn't get as far this direction as maybe would be. Let's put this more towards the middle. So we still start off with an ooh, and hopefully we can get all the way down here. You don't see the knob move, of course, but this is just basically saying you're going from here to here as you turn the mod wheel up. There we go, that's pretty good. Of course, if you do it the opposite way, you would be going from this position, meaning like 12 o'clock, down to the lowest position here on this knob. This direction kind of flares out a little bit more. I like that. Okay, so now let's see what we get as an effect here. To hear the subtleties, this series is best heard using headphones. Yeah, I think I like that as, shall we say, the down position. And then we'll have it, as I turn the mod wheel up, it go this direction. Pretty cool. Now let's hear our throat options here. Now there's a little let's explore that area a little bit. It sounds a little glitchy, but turn this up a little bit. No, I'm not hearing it. It doesn't make that little glitchy sound with the mod wheel doing it, as opposed to just turning this knob. There we go. Now, what the hell? I didn't hook this up. There's another one. No, I'm not recording this again. I've been doing too much here. I don't want to have to do all of it again. I didn't have it hooked up. No wonder. Now, let's go back to what I was attempting to do to begin with. So I'll leave you centered. Let's find that area. Now turn this up a little bit. Now the mod wheel's doing it. If you don't like the sound, you have to go either from center down or from just below center down this way to avoid this little click in the middle. I like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's hook this up ahead of time this time, so I don't forget to do it and then wonder why it's not doing it. There we go, from mod wheel. Let's see what effects we have here. All right, yeah, this is kind of like the throat spittle. And then with this, you can alter it here with noise. Yeah, if I set it to go down, so here, what I'm going to do is set it with the mod wheel down. We are now hearing a smoother tone. And then as I turn the mod wheel up, it will go a little bit this way because I only have it going so far. That's about as far as I want it to go. All right, pretty cool. Now you have some other options here. The noise affects kind of like what you get out of there. And then you have tip. With headphones, you might be able to hear the subtleties of the sound changing. I like that. And then blade. I just tried some higher notes just to see. Pretty cool. And then we do have, yeah, I did blade. We do have a filter section here. Interestingly enough, you could feed a gate into the level portion of the filter here, because going from left to right, it's frequency, Q, and level. Basically how much the filter affects the sound. And if you set it to affect it all the way, you could actually use this a little bit as like a gate control over the overall envelope of the sound. But when you do that, then the filter's on because you're controlling both the overall output of the sound and the output of the filter as a whole. To be perfectly honest with you, I played with the filter for a while, and I'd much rather just use an external filter where I can control the frequency and Q and use either high pass, low pass, band pass, whatever I want. And so I just didn't find it to be all that useful using this one here. So, but you're more welcome to experiment with it yourself. Now we have tension, tense. Now I'm going to turn it up. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, put this here, keep this down, and hook this up to the mod wheel. It puts a little more emphasis on the breathiness, and I do have that breathiness coming through when I turn the mod wheel up. So when I turn it up, I do want this to go in the counterclockwise direction, basically putting in more tense or less tense. I'm not sure which way it goes, but the thing is, it sounds breathier. All right, and then down here, of course, is our pitch input. You could have it control pitch less by turning this down, but then you're getting less accurate notes. But maybe, depending on what you're doing. See, I'm playing all these different keys, and it's just basically gravitated somewhere towards a central pitch, probably like MIDI note 60 or something like that. So as I just randomly hit keys all over the keyboard, it's not changing pitch as much. But this is something you can use to kind of like play within a pitch area. And let's see. And so you could do stuff with that. I'm going to turn it all the way up so pitch is fully controlled, and what note you play is what you're going to get, as long as your big pitch knob down here is set to the frequency of middle C. Of course, you could change your tuning if you want. Now there's vibrato here. Basically, like if I hold the note, you hear it fluctuate a little bit here and there. The more you turn this up, the more often and the further it fluctuates. Of course, you could have this controlled, but I'd kind of like to keep it a consistent fluctuation because I tell you what, that helps when you chorus these things together. I am going to copy this. Control C, copy there. I'm going to pop one here. And then I'm going to pop one here. Now, since I copied this one, the parameters are going to be the same, but I'm going to have to hook up the cables. So I am going to pause recording right now so you don't have to wait for me to hook up all these cables again. But I will kind of go over it just to make sure you don't miss any. Okay. We are back, and basically I hooked up all four of the top parameters of each module to the mod wheel. I didn't have to reset any dials because since I copied and pasted, they all have the same settings. I then needed to make sure that volt per octave was going to the pitch of all three, and that the gate out here was going to the volume input on channels 1 and 3 as well as 2. And then you just hook up the audio cables from each module, make sure they're all connected. And so now we have 3. Alrighty, but we can go a little further with this and put in some reverb. I'm using the Surge XT Reverb 2 module. It's a free module, as well as these Mind Melds. All of these are free modules in VCV Rack. You don't need the paid version to have them. And so I am going to turn up some sends here. I'm going to send the middle a little bit less than the left and the right. And you hear some good chorusing because they each have, even though the vibrato setting is set the same on each, this vibrato is kind of randomized, and I think the seed is based on the individual modules, so that way they're not all on the same random seed, so it basically fluctuates differently. And so they're all fluctuating slightly in pitch, and it sounds pretty good. Alrighty then. So, there you go. You can definitely use this module to make some pretty interesting stuff. And I even just went one direction, and this sounds different than the one that I started with. You could basically explore the settings and find what vocal sounds you want to do on your own. If you want more dynamic control, being able to have more than just one controller, like just the mod wheel here is all I'm using. But if you want different knobs to be controlling things, if you can kind of move hands across multiple knobs and twist and move and morph them, then it might be worth setting that up. All right, folks, but thank you for joining me. Please hit the like button if you stayed with me this long. Leave a comment in the comment section. Help keep me from feeling lonely. Basically, until next time, and I release another video doing synthesis stuff, please take care and stay free. And don't forget to check out Earworms, Sunday night, 7:15 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And I do leave all the streams up so you can check them out after the fact. Thank you, and take care.